So for me, an entrepreneur is more than just having a business and making money. I think it's a lifestyle, a way of living. In order to live the life that I really wanted to live, I had to take control of the amount of money that I made and the amount of time off that I had and the freedom of my schedule and the way that I wanted to do things. So that's when I knew I had to have my own business. Hey buddy, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a business partner like you, Daddy.
Yeah, a business partner like me. Yeah, we're going to Moab in a couple weeks. Just the Legacy guys. Mommy's staying here.
I'm a legacy guy.
You are a Legacy guy. All right, Hanny, super secret handshake. Hey, you gotta make the noise.
What?
Eddie's got to get going to work, okay? Come on.
Bye.
Here. Love you. Hey, you give me a super secret handshake?
What?
I would friend request all of those people and turn them into followers, and then I would invite them to my free Facebook group. So my metrics were, if I scanned... All right, come on. Let's ride. Let's ride, come on.
Daddy, we are riding.
Let's ride.
Coming in.
Going to work. Bye.
Bye. Love you.
All right, let's do this. So I'm Mike Wingard, otherwise known as Legacy Mike, and I want to tell you a little bit about my life before I became an entrepreneur. So I remember it came time for my senior year and I was getting ready for college and trying to figure out what I was gonna study. So I remember going into the office being like, I need to figure this out. I need to know what career I get into. So I typed in Google, which careers or which jobs pay the best? And at the top of the list, there's things like professional athlete, actor, doctor, lawyer, surgeon, things like that. And then below that, it said entrepreneur. And I remember reading that going, what exactly does that mean? I think I have an idea of it. And I read the description. It said, these are people that start their own businesses. They're good at sales. They're good at marketing. They can build teams and they can create whatever they want to create. They can make as much money as they want to make, but there's also a lot of risk involved and you have to do it on your own. And I remember being like, this sounds exactly like what I want to do. This is who I want to be. How come nobody's told me about this? So I went out of the office and I talked to my dad and my brother who were watching the game and I said, guys, I figured it out. I'm gonna become an entrepreneur. And I remember my dad kind of just going, okay, tell me about it. I remember my brother going, entrepreneur? Really? Entrepreneur of what? What kind of business are you gonna start? I'm like, I don't know, but I know that I can go out and I could sell, and if I had a product or I had a service, I could sell it and I can build it and I could create something awesome. And he's like, Mike, just hold on a second. You're going to college. There's no entrepreneurship major. Plus, let's be real here for a second. There's certain people that are meant to be entrepreneurs and you're not one of them. And I remember thinking, why? And he said, well, you remember what happened to Grandpa Wingard, right? And I said, what do you mean? That my grandfather just died the year before that. And he said, Grandpa Wingard worked in corporate America and he was vice president of marketing for the company he worked for. And then he decided to go out on his own and become an entrepreneur. And he got invested in apartment complexes and he had his own plastics company and he ended up turning into an alcoholic because of the stress. And he ended up losing all the money that came from that business. And he ended up dying in his 60s with pretty much nothing. Is that who you want to be? Is that what you want to be like? And I remember being like, well, no, but I could do it different. And he's like, Mike, get realistic. Go figure out what major you're gonna go to school with. You're going to Penn State, just enjoy it. And I went back into the office. And the next thing on that list was a business manager, and it was supply chain management. And I said, well, that's what my dad does, and I know I could do pretty well with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And at that moment, I realized that I gave up on who I was really meant to be. And if I would have sat in that for my whole life, and I would have stayed that person, I would have never been able to resurrect what my grandfather did incorrectly. I would have never been able to become the entrepreneur that I wanted to be. I would have never been able to have control over my schedule and my family life and teach my children what it means to truthfully live a legacy. So throughout college, I did a number of internships, and every internship I struggled to be taken seriously. I wanted to do big things and grow, and I felt like I was just going through the motions, and I realized that everyone at these jobs was there for the paycheck. Throughout these experiences, knowing that I would be capped by the corporate environment. Hey, this job pays between this amount and this amount. It doesn't matter what you do, this is the cap. And I knew I had more value than what I was giving at that time. So I remember one of the corporate jobs I had, I was really ambitious, and they tasked me with finding inefficiencies in our inventory and eliminating old inventory and getting the cash from that. And I took it super seriously. I was tracking down every piece, every part. I was diving into the reports. I was calling people saying, hey, where's this at? Can we expense this out of the system? What can we do? And I remember people got so frustrated with me. They're like, dude, why are you trying so hard? Why do you care so much about this? It doesn't matter how much work you put in. You're not gonna make any more money. Just do the bare minimum and go home like the rest of us. They didn't say it exactly like that, but that was the gist of it. And even had one guy tell me to go back to my desk and watch a movie like they were doing at their desks, to relax, stop taking it so seriously. And I knew that there was this disconnect of me wanting to build and grow and do something of impact, because it wasn't just about the inventory, it wasn't just about the money, it was about doing things with purpose and doing things with excellence. And I knew that I had to write my own ticket. I knew I had to be in charge of my own schedule and my own projects. So the biggest struggle for me in breaking through and becoming an entrepreneur was, how do I get the money to start a business? Where do I get the experience from? Who do I go to know what kind of business to start? Like, do I go to YouTube? Where do I go? And I always felt like that was holding me back. And I always felt like I needed to save up a certain amount of money, or I needed to earn my way and get so many years of experience before I was ready to. And it wasn't until I found my mentor, Jim Parks, who said, what do you need money for? I'm like, well, to start the business. He's like, well, start a business that doesn't require money. I'm like, what business doesn't require money to start? Well, I'm just thinking a cleaning company. What about if you just went and got some cleaning supplies and used the stuff from your house and you just started cleaning things? What if you cleaned people's windows and you started making money that way? And the light bulb went off. That there are so many ways to make money. There's so many ways to start your own business, but we've been preconditioned to believe that we have to earn our way. We have to have so many years of experience on our resume. We have to have all these higher degrees. We have to have so much money saved up, and all of it was lies, and my mind was completely opened. Had about a 3-hour drive home, and I just talked to my wife, and I'm like, Jim just told me to go ahead and start this business. Like, I don't need any more time. I don't need any more resources. I don't need the money. I can just go out and start this business. And I remember thinking, I have to quit my corporate job. I've got to quit this safe, secure thing that I have and start this business. I was so excited. I was on cloud nine. I was gonna start this business. It was gonna be great. And I remember going to work on Monday, and all the people at the office were just doing the same old thing they were doing, and I couldn't help myself. I had to tell some of my closest friends at the office that I was gonna start this business. And I just remember them saying, dude, are you crazy? What are you doing? You're gonna quit this safe, secure job with this big company and where you're moving up the corporate ladder to go out and clean stuff? Like, what are you doing? And I just remember having those self-doubts and being like, oh man, what am I doing? It brought me back down to reality. And I felt defeated. I felt like maybe I am crazy. And then I turned that pain and that negative emotion and that disbelief, and I said, I'm gonna prove them wrong. And I remember thinking, I don't have any money. I mean, I've got a couple $1,000s, but I don't have hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to start a business. But I realized I didn't need it. It was as simple as filing an LLC on the state website and going out and getting some cleaning supplies. So I remember as I moved to a new city. I moved from Pittsburgh to State College, Pennsylvania. I felt like I needed to restart my life, be in a brand new city, be in a community that I could build. And I remember as we moved and the expenses came through of moving and all that, I ended up going through all my savings and I had $143 in my bank account. I will never forget that number. And I went from making 6 figures at my corporate job at 24 to having $143 in my account. And I was scared. I didn't know what to do. And I remember this defining moment. I went out to dinner with my wife and I said, why am I doing this? I need to start this cleaning company. I don't care how much money I have. I don't care that we barely have money for groceries. I need to go out and do something. So I went to Home Depot, I got a bucket, a mop, and a squeegee, and I spent $100 basically on window cleaning supplies. And that next day, I told my wife, I'm gonna go out and knock on doors and I'm not gonna come home until I sell some window cleaning jobs. This was in February in Pennsylvania. It was freezing out. There was actually snow still on the ground, but I knew spring was right around the corner. So I went, I knocked on doors all day. Nothing happened. I didn't get any jobs. I handed my flyer. They said, we'll call you later. And I was going home. I felt defeated. I felt like this was a waste of time. I can't believe I did this. And I went past a retirement community and it said no soliciting. And I was like, I'm gonna try it out. And if they get upset that I solicit, then I'll go home. Knocked on the first door, no one was home. Knocked on the second door, lady was home. I said, hey, my name's Mike. I own a local window cleaning company. Do you by chance need your windows cleaned? She said, first of all, there's no soliciting in the neighborhood, so be careful about that. Second, I do need my windows cleaned. So I gave this lady a quote. I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't know how much to charge, but I just figured some money was better than no money. So I gave her a quote for $99 to clean the inside and outside of her windows, plus screens, all this stuff. A week later, I come out, I perform the job. The neighbors come around. They're like, hey, I need my windows cleaned. Can you give me a quote? Hey, I'm next door, 3 doors down. Can I get a quote? All of a sudden, people want my services. Then a guy comes running down in his car and he's like, hey, I live down the street and I need my stuff done. By the way, do you know the property manager for this community? I'm like, no, I haven't talked to her. Well, I can recommend that you talk to her and she can probably put an email blast out to everyone in the neighborhood if you offer some type of group discount. So what kind of discount could you give? So I said, how about 20%? I just made it up. The next day, she sent the email out to 300 residents in the neighborhood and my inbox got flooded with work. I scheduled over $10,000 of window cleaning. I performed it over the next 2 months. And from there, I knew that I had a business that I needed to grow and scale. So I remember going out and I made $40 the first day window cleaning. The second day, I made $80. I'm cleaning storefronts and I'm just getting whatever cash I can. I think people felt bad for me. And then the next day I went out and I cleaned a house for $300. And I remember just going, this is more money than I used to make in my corporate job and the amount of time. It took me about 4 or 5 hours. If I could do this every day, and what if I could do 2 jobs at $300? What if I could do 3 jobs at $300? What if I could make $1,000 a day cleaning windows? I went out and I did it 2 months later. And then I said, what if I had 2 crews making $1,000 a day? And then I did it. And I said, what if I could have 3 crews making $1,000 a day? And then I did it. And then I went out and said, what if I could make $50,000 in 1 month or $100,000 in 1 month? And I did it. And I just kept growing and expanding. So I realized I didn't need to have this crazy business plan. I didn't need to have all my ducks in a row. I just needed to go out and hustle and have a good work ethic, learn how to sell and be personable and do the right thing, and I could make as much money as I wanted to make. My name is Mike Wingard, also known as Legacy Mike, and I own multiple different businesses. I have Legacy Entrepreneurs, which is an education company. I own Standout Marketing, and I'm also a partner in a private equity company that buys businesses, and I'm a 7-figure business owner. So Legacy Entrepreneurs is a group of like-minded individuals all across the country that have businesses and real estate and want to grow personally and professionally. Because let's face it, there's not a lot of entrepreneurs in the world. I think entrepreneurs make up less than 1% of the total population. So how do you get involved with people who are just like you? How do you bounce ideas off people who don't understand you? There is this longing for people who are in entrepreneurship to not feel like you're on an island. So we've assembled this group, this mastermind of people from all across the country in various different businesses where we come together, we do coaching on weekly Zoom calls, we talk in between the calls, we do quarterly events where we go to cool places like Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, or we go riding side-by-sides at Moab, Utah. We'll invite some speakers in a small group setting of 25, 30 people, and we'll help each other work on our businesses. The more people that are in the group, the more people we could positively impact. And the goal of being a part of Legacy Entrepreneurs is that you grow in 3 areas: your income, your influence, and your impact. So Legacy Entrepreneurs will help you in every area of your life to grow and be a better version of yourself. So Legacy Entrepreneurs helps multiple different people, whether you're just starting your business out and you're trying to get it off the ground and make your first 100,000, or you're making a couple 100,000 and you want to turn it into a 7-figure business, or if you want to take that 7-figure business and do multiple 7 figures or start another business or invest in real estate, we can help you do this. Now, the thing that's tough about entrepreneurship is it's a lonely journey, and there's not always a ton of people to help and support you, and making money is the easy part. It's holding together the rest of your life too. So not only are we going to help you make money and learn new strategies and how to market and grow your income, but we're also going to help you stay on track with your life, whether it's your relationships, your spiritual life, your health, all of these different things go into creating the best version of yourself. So that's what you should hope to accomplish by joining Legacy Entrepreneurs, is we help you grow your income, but also in tandem, help you live a better life in the process and just be happier and healthier. The people that don't believe in themselves, the people that have been told they stink so many times, the people who have been broken down and told they're not good enough. Like, it's our job as entrepreneurs to lift those people up. What is going to be more painful? The thought of knowing that you're going to miss out on those moments or to part with either freedom or money or whatever it may be.